Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2014 VRC 8-Scale Nitro Sports Car World Championship presented by Runner Time. Getting set to go here, your top 10 drivers after qualifying lined up, ready to go. Getting set for that tone to sound. They are off and underway. Here we go. Racing is underway now. Looks like a clean start for most drivers here in this one so far. Let them get sorted out just a little bit right now. A lot of big-name drivers here from the VRC world in this one. We got Martin Wollanka, Kevin Pignotti, Graham Rastrick, Rick Yaley, and many more. As they work their way around for lap number one, Kevin Pignotti out front leading the way right now. Onto the backside he goes, the white, blue, and yellow machine down the backstretch now. Pignotti coming off a 10-scale world championship. As he works his way onto that right-hand side, Rozycki in that number 2 spot. Wollanka in the 3 spot. Rick Yaley in the number 4 spot right now. Your leader through the switchbacks. He's got pressure coming up behind him right now. Second and third right there with him. Rick Yaley in the number 4 spot. Going to be about 1.2 seconds back from those drivers. 1 and 2 now starting to stretch it out on the field. Look how close they are racing. Down the front stretch they go. Kevin Pignotti out front. Less than 1/10 of a second right now separating 1 and 2. Through the switchback sections onto the backside. First and second now, 1.9 seconds ahead of the third place drivers. That's Martin Wollanka there in the number 2 spot, the orange and white car. Martin Wollanka chasing down Kevin Pignotti. These two drivers no strangers to the front of the pack. Back and forth they go through the switchbacks now. Working their way onto the back straightaway. Kevin Pignotti, your leader. The yellow, blue, and white. Martin Wollanka in that number 2 spot. They now have a 2.25 second lead on third. So these two drivers trying to stretch it out early on here in this one. There's your third place driver right there. Jakub Rozycki. Sitting in the number 3 spot, the pink and white machine. Down the backstretch he goes. Trying to catch back up to the leaders right now. He's going to be 2.4 seconds back from Wollanka. There's Martin Wollanka, the orange and white. Pushing Pignotti hard right now. These two drivers close on pace throughout qualifying, and they are right there together here in the final. Definitely both of them favorites to win this world championship here in VRC Pro. Onto the backside they go, coming back around to the long front straightaway, wide open. Sweeping around onto the left-hand side, Pignotti right now, not letting the pressure get to him. Holding strong, Wollanka with the inside line. Wollanka takes the lead now, and Pignotti takes it right back. Down the backstretch they go. These two drivers back and forth, back and forth. Coming back around to the front side. Drag race down the front stretch. Both cars. Pignotti with the inside line. Sweeps back up into the lead now. Martin Wollanka in that number 2 spot drops back in the orange and white. Chasing down Pignotti onto the backside they go. Wollanka looking for... Oh! Pignotti right there. Clips that inside curve. Bicycles into the grass section there. That's going to drop him back. He's still in the number 2 spot. However, Martin Wollanka now going to be your leader with a little bit of a breathing spot there. Martin Wollanka out front, 1.6 seconds ahead of Kevin Pignotti. They're so close on pace, I think, at this point, in order for Pignotti to catch back up to Wollanka, Wollanka's going to have to make a similar mistake. There's Brian Policino. The white, pink, and blue. Charging hard right now. He started the number 5 spot. He's sitting in the 8th place spot right now. Trying to work his way back up through the field. You can see a pack of cars up ahead of him there. All those drivers very close. Policino in the 7th spot now. As they're working their way back around, Martin Wollanka still out front in this one. Pignotti in the number 2 spot. Rozycki in the 3rd spot. There's our 5th place driver right there. Alaprandi battling out with Giorgio Mungatti. Those two drivers also close on pace throughout qualifying, looking strong here in this one. Still a lot of racing left to go for these guys right now. Martin Wollanka with a 2.1 second lead on Kevin Pignotti. Pignotti could be 1.8 seconds ahead of Rozycki in 3rd. And a close battle here. 4th and 5th going back and forth. Down around to the front stretch they go. These two drivers swapping back and forth as we saw Pignotti and Wollanka doing earlier. There's Rick Yaley in that number 9 spot. The purple, green, and white machine. Yaley, a little bit of a rough start in this one. Dropped to the back of the pack with still a lot of racing left to go and a lot of time for Yaley to move back up into the front. There's Policino once again. Policino chasing down Graham Rastrick. Rastrick in the orange and white. Back and forth they go now. Battle for 6th and 7th. Down the backstretch into the infield they come. Through that chicane and around that big sweeper. Wide open down the front stretch. Coming into pit lane. Policino making the first pit stop right there. 5 minutes into this one. Pit stop's definitely going to play a part here in this one. Martin Wollanka, he's sitting in the 3rd place spot right now after the pit stop, I believe, on the last lap. That's going to hand the lead back over to Kevin Pignotti. Jakub Rozycki in the number 2 spot right now. There's Kevin Pignotti in and out for fuel. Coming back around to the front side now. There you see Martin Wollanka. Wollanka going to take the lead back over. Kevin Pignotti dropping back to the number 2 spot. 1.6 seconds back from your leader right now. As I was saying earlier, it's going to take a mistake out of Wollanka. These drivers are so close on pace. The only reason they're as far apart as they are right now is Pignotti. Got it up on 2 wheels there earlier on. Martin Wollanka looking nice and smooth out front. Looking for a possible world championship win here in this one, but still a lot of time left to go. 6 minutes down in this race now. As you can see, Wollanka holding a tight line through the sweeper along that long front straightaway. It's hard to tell exactly how fast these cars are going. But down on ground level, these guys are flying. As you can see, working their way around into that big sweeping section. Martin Wollanka, your leader down the front stretch. You sweep into the front straight and then sweep out of it. High-speed driving there for all these drivers. Wollanka staying right in the groove right there. There's Kevin Pignotti, your 2nd place driver, 1.7 seconds back. So even after a few laps here, Pignotti still within 1/10 of a second of what they were apart. Wollanka and Pignotti. Rozycki in that number 3 spot, the pink and white. He's going to be 2.4 seconds back from Kevin Pignotti right now as they're trying to close that gap back up on the leader. There's Rick Yaley in the number 8 spot. Yaley working his way round into the center section. Good battle right here as they're working their way around. That's going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th right now. Those drivers nice and close. Brian Policino making a move right there. Policino in the blue, pink, and white. He's got company behind him. He's sandwiched right now. Down the backstretch he goes. 7:30 down in this one. Martin Wollanka still leading the way. Kevin Pignotti 1.5 seconds back in that number 2 spot. And that battle's still going right now. That is for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Looking at Brian Policino. Policino trying to work his way through the yellow cars. And he drops back now, coming as they work their way around. Alaprandi in that number 4 spot. Policino in the 5 now. And Giorgio up into the number 4 spot. Time shift we go. 12 minutes into this one now. Looking at your leader, Martin Wollanka. 1.4 seconds ahead of Kevin Pignotti. There's Pignotti, your number 2 driver right now as they're working their way into lap traffic. On to the right-hand side of the track they go, coming back around to the front straight. 1.4 seconds separate the two right now. Jakub Rozycki still not out of this one. He's only 3.6 seconds back from your leaders. Pignotti 1.5 seconds back from Martin Wollanka. There you saw Wollanka in that crowd of cars right now. Pignotti trying to work his way through that group. Look over the inside line. There's your leader, Martin Wollanka, the orange and white. Battling a car with the exact same paint scheme. And Wollanka now with a clear track ahead of him as he works his way through the infield, at least for now. On to the right-hand side he goes. Wollanka, Pignotti, Rozycki, still your top 3. Policino in the 4. Alapranda in the 5. Rastrick and Yaley working their way around. There's your 3rd place driver right there. There's Alaprandi in the number 5 spot. The yellow and white onto the right side through the switchbacks. Alaprandi going to be 2.9 seconds back from Policino. Through the switchbacks, there's Rick Yaley. Rick Yaley sitting in the number 7 spot right now. Started 4th on the grid. And he's sitting 7th right now. Trying to work his way back up. He's less than a second back from a whole pack of cars as they battle out mid-pack here in this one. Meanwhile, out front, Martin Wollanka still leading the way. There's Brian Policino, your fourth place driver. He is 12 seconds back from Rozycki. Rozycki going to be 4 seconds back from Pignotti. Pignotti still only 1.5 seconds back from Martin Wollanka. Those two drivers laying down some consistent, smooth lap times here in this one. Martin Wollanka out front leading the way. Brian Policino here in that number 4 spot. There's Graham Rastrick. Rastrick trying to catch up right now to Aliprandi. Rastrick in the orange and white, Aliprandi in the yellow and white. They are chasing down Brian Policino. And they've got Rick Yaley behind them right now. On to the right-hand side of the track they go, coming back around to the front side. Rastrick in the number 6 spot. There's Giorgio Mingatti. Sitting in the number 8 spot right now, starting the 8th spot, sitting in the 8th spot. Only 0.8 of a second out of 7th though right now, chasing down Rick Yaley, but he's got Paolo Massari closing that gap up on behind him. Massari in that all-red car. On to the right side they go now. Mingatti and Massari in for fuel here on this one. And another time shift. Up to the 18-minute mark now. Battle for the lead. Kevin Pignotti and Martin Wollanka. Drag race down the front stretch. Onto the left-hand side they go. Sweeping back into the infield now. Pignotti up into the lead. Martin Wollanka looking for that inside line. This is how this race started out. Coming back into the center section now. Onto the right side they go. Sweeping back around to the front side. Drag race once again down the front stretch. Pignotti in the blue, yellow, and white. Martin Wollanka in the orange and white machine. Through that tight chicane they go. The switchbacks making that 180 back onto the back straight once again. Martin Wollanka with the inside line now. Wollanka sets him up into the corner. Wollanka back up to the top stop now. Onto the right-hand side they go. Martin Wollanka clips that inside curve just a little bit. Drag race down the front stretch again. Pignotti sets him up back to the inside line. Martin Wollanka takes it back from him. Back and forth they go. Through the S section. Into the 180s down the back stretch. Once again, Martin Wollanka going to be your leader now. Kevin Pignotti in the number 2 spot. Pignotti chasing him down. Wollanka brushing a little grass line there. Down the front stretch, sweeping back around Pignotti. Nose to tail right now with your leader, Martin Wollanka. So very close racing for these drivers here in this one. Down the back stretch they go. Watch right here. They both stayed on the track that time. Martin Wollanka that first time around grabbed a little bit of grass on that left side. And Martin Wollanka in for fuel now. Coming up on the 20-minute mark here in this race. A tire change as well for Martin Wollanka here in this one. So Wollanka going out on fresh tires and fuel. There you see several other drivers coming in as well here at the 20-minute mark. Martin Wollanka is in and out. Here comes Kevin Pignotti now. Pignotti in and on the wall. Pignotti getting a tire change as well. And here comes Martin Wollanka. Wollanka onto the right-hand side. Pignotti still in the pits. It's going to be close. Here comes Wollanka out of the pits now. There's Pignotti right back together again. Beautiful pit stops for both drivers. The battle is back on here in this one. Kevin Pignotti in the number 2 spot right now. Martin Wollanka up into the top spot. Both on fresh tires. Full tank of fuel. Onto the right-hand side. Coming back around to the front stretch now. Martin Wollanka with a couple car lengths on Pignotti. Onto the left side. Working their way through the switchbacks now. Into the 180 section. Martin Wollanka out front. Back around to that right-hand side. Coming back around now. Kevin Pignotti. Jakub Rozycki. There is your actual leader of the race. Rozycki leading this one, but Rozycki has yet to make that pit stop. Once he makes that pit stop, things should sort out just a little bit. Wollanka and Pignotti will move back up to that number 1 and 2 place spot. We suspect, anyway. Rozycki in the pink and white machine coming around right now, leading this race for the first time here in this one. And here comes his pit stop now. In and on the wall, he's going in for the tire change. And here comes your leaders, Martin Wollanka and Kevin Pignotti. Pignotti dropping back just a little bit right now. The tire change keeping him still in the pits right now. Martin Wollanka will take over the lead now. Kevin Pignotti in the number 2 spot. Rozycki dropping to the number 3 spot now. Pignotti going to be 0.7 of a second back from your leader. Wollanka working his way onto the right-hand side of the track. And another time shift. We are 37 minutes in now here in this one. Martin Wollanka leading the way. Kevin Pignotti 3.8 seconds back from it. Wollanka onto the right-hand side. Whoa! Getting a little loose on the back straight there. Rear into that car, dropping out into the grass just a bit. Good save, though, from Martin Wollanka as he works his way back. Oh! Wollanka looking a little out of control here in this one. Wollanka coming around right now. Down the front stretch he goes. Wollanka trying to hold on to this car right now. Things not quite hooking up like they were. Back around to the backside. Looks like he's smoothing things out now. Pignotti gained a little bit of time on that last lap, but luckily no crashes for Wollanka. Pignotti could be 3.1 seconds back from him. Rozycki going to be 5.5 seconds back from Kevin Pignotti. Here's your second place driver right now. Chasing down your leader. As they cross the line right there, Pignotti getting a little close to the edge there. These drivers have been running for a long time. And they are pushing it to the limits right now. Back around to the front side once again. Coming close to 40 minutes into this one. Kevin Pignotti. Onto the backside he goes. Into the infield now. Rozycki in the number 3 spot still. Alaprandi in the 4. Rick Yaley has worked his way up into the number 5 spot now. Pignotti, the blue, yellow, and white. And as you can see, he's got a pretty clear track ahead of him right now. A little bit of lap traffic coming up. As these drivers are starting to spread out just a little bit here in this one. Martin Wollanka still out front, your leader. Kevin Pignotti looking strong here in the number 2 spot. Pignotti's got the speed. We've seen that earlier in the race. He's dropped back about 3.3 seconds from your leader. At this point, he needs a little mistake out of Martin Wollanka. Either a mistake or a slow pit stop. And you can see hugging those tight inside lines. Martin Wollanka 3.2 seconds ahead. There's your leader now onto the right-hand side of the track. Coming back around to the front side. And fuel consumption on such a big, wide open, fast track definitely plays a part. Pit strategy is key here in this one. The tire changes, the fuels, all of that making a big difference for these drivers. Martin Wollanka looks to have a handle on it right now, but still, anything can happen. Martin Wollanka out front leading the way. Kevin Pignotti in the number 2 spot. Jakub Rozycki in the number 3 spot. Rick Yaley in the 4. Giorgio Mingotti in the number 5. Wollanka down the backstretch. Had a few sketchy laps there. He looks like he's got everything well under control now, keeping that car going in a straight line, keeping it off the grass. Kevin Pignotti, 3.3 seconds back. They are... Oh! Huge mistake for Kevin Pignotti. Watch this, just as we say. Martin Wollanka got everything under control. Pignotti catches that outside edge of the grass and spins out. A huge mistake right there for Pignotti. There's Martin Wollanka. Wollanka in for fuel now. And also going with a tire change. There's Kevin Pignotti. Pignotti in now as well. So both drivers stopping on the same lap here in this one. And there goes Wollanka. And Pignotti now in and out as well. So Martin Wollanka going to be your leader right now. Kevin Pignotti still in the number 2 spot. We'll see. They are separated by 5 seconds now after Pignotti's mistake. So Martin Wollanka just trying to keep it smooth here in this one. Kevin Pignotti in that number 2 spot. Right now he needs a mistake out of Martin Wollanka. Wollanka has run nearly a flawless race here in this one. As you can see, on the right-hand side they go once again. Jakub Rozycki in the number 3 spot. Brian Polistine on the number 4. Rick Yaley in the number 5. Alaprandi, Rastrick, Massari, Mingotti, and Wolf. Your running order right now. 42 minutes into this race. And Martin Wollanka finds himself out front at yet another VRC World Championship event. Wollanka through the switchbacks. Onto the backside he goes right now. We'll wait and see when Pignotti crosses the line. They are now going to be 5.5 seconds back, first and second. As you can see, Wollanka with a clear track ahead of him right now. Pignotti, 5.5 seconds back. Rozycki going to be 9 seconds out of the lead, 4.8 seconds back from Pignotti in the number 2 spot. Wollanka down the backstretch right now, working his way back through the center section onto the right-hand side. This race starting to wind down here in this one. There's your number 2 driver, Kevin Pignotti. Pignotti coming around to the front side, onto the left side now. Made that major mistake earlier, but recovered well. Trying to gain time back on Martin Wollanka. Pignotti and Wollanka is so close in lap times and so consistent. One mistake from either one of them, and it's trouble for the other. Pignotti 5.3 seconds back now, gained a little bit of time on Wollanka, but still a lot of time left to go. 5.4 seconds doesn't sound like a whole lot. But I tell you what, in the world of 8-scale nitro sports car racing, that could seem like hours when you're chasing the guy in front of you, that's for sure. He's trying to chip away at it little by little. There's your third place driver right there, Rozycki. Rozycki looking strong here in this one as well. Staying fairly close to your top 2. Top 3 drivers. Only ones right there together. Another time shift as this race is winding down now. Rozycki in the number 3 spot. 5 minutes left to go in this race right now before we crown a VRC 8-scale sports car world champion. Rozycki coming back, go around to the front straight to pink and a white. Working his way through the switchback sections now. There's Alaprandi. Alaprandi sitting in the pits there, coming in and out. Sitting in the number 5 spot, he'll be chasing down Ricky Ailey. Brian Policino in the number 6 spot, Rastrick in the 7, Mingatti in the 8, Massari in the 9, and Wolf in the 10. Martin Wollanka out front right now, leading this one 6.2 seconds ahead of Kevin Pignotti. Alaprandi down the front stretch right now. Pretty open track, front and behind him right now. Jakub Rozycki still not completely out of this one. Top 3 drivers have really stretched it out on the field. Rozycki going to be 8 seconds back from Pignotti. Pignotti going to be 6 seconds back from Wollanka. And there you see Rozycki right now. 14 seconds out of the lead. After 56 minutes of racing. Coming around to the front stretch he goes. On to the left-hand side. There's your leader, Martin Wollanka. Martin Wollanka in the orange and a white machine coming back around to the front side. On to the left side now. He's got a 6.2 second lead on Pignotti. There's Pignotti down the front stretch now. He's got a 14 second lead on Rozycki. Here comes Rozycki back around to the front side now. Top 3 drivers on the same lap right now. Everybody else a lap or more down. Martin Wollanka with 166 laps in the book, a 6.2 second lead right now. He's looking at a possible world championship win. Whoa! Rozycki! And they called him out on that one. Rozycki cutting across the grass there. Has to be corner marks and put back in place. Trying to take those tight lines. Got a little caught up in it. Cut that one a bit short. The referee's calling him out on it. Rozycki still, though, looking strong in the number 3 spot. He's going to drop back just a little bit from Pignotti. There is your leader, Martin Wollanka. Less than 3 minutes to go in this one now. Down the front stretch he goes on to the left-hand side of the track. Only a few final laps. Oh! Wollanka spins out with only 2 minutes left to go. He's still going to be out front leading the way in this one, but definitely going to eat away at his lead. He's going to have to keep it calm and smooth here in this one. Pignotti going to be trying to chase him down onto the left-hand side. Here comes Kevin Pignotti now. Pignotti a little more than that front straightaway length back from him. Wollanka crossing the line on that last one. Here comes Pignotti. Pignotti now going to be 4.2 seconds back. So Wollanka with that spin out lost 2.5 seconds to the second place driver now. 2 minutes left to go. Pignotti onto the right-hand side. There's Martin Wollanka. Martin Wollanka had a 21-second lap on that last one. Coming around there a 19.9 here on this one. Onto the backside he goes. Minute 45 left to go. 4.1 seconds separate them right now. Wollanka's just got to keep it smooth and on all fours. Down the front stretch he goes, onto the left-hand side, only a few final times. Back into the infield now. 4 seconds separate him. Rozycki 13.8 seconds back in third. Your leader down the backstretch. Into the infield now. Back around on the front side. Martin Wollanka, getting close to the edge of the track right now. 4 seconds separate him now. Pignotti picking up about 0.2 of a second on that last lap. With only a minute to go now. Kevin Pignotti's definitely going to have to turn up the heat, or Martin Wollanka is going to have to make a big mistake in order to change the running order in this one. Kevin Pignotti down the front stretch right now. 3.9 seconds that last time around, so Pignotti is closing the gap on him. Rozycki in the number 3 spot right now, working his way around. Top 3 drivers having phenomenal runs here in this one. 40 seconds left to go on the master clock. There's Martin Wollanka, 30 seconds left to go now. 3.9 second lead. Through the chicane section, working his way back around onto the long back straight. And through the right-hand side, Martin Wollanka coming around. 4 second lead, 15 seconds left to go. It's going to be close if he's going to get the free one or not. And he is. He's going to get one more lap. Martin Wollanka on the final lap right now. Pignotti's going to get the free one as well. All he's got to do is keep it together in this one. Wollanka one final time onto the right-hand side of the track. And Rozycki is done. Here comes Martin Wollanka. Your winner, Martin Wollanka, your 2014 VRC ACL Sports Car World Champion. Kevin Pignotti coming in around for second. Rozycki running out of fuel, but still able to manage a third-place finish. Alapronda, Yaley, Policino, Rastrick, Mingatti, Massari, and Wolf.